Hi, everybody. Good day. Here we are again with America Break Your Silence. Today's topic is cyberbullying and the effects that it has on the victims. Everybody, I am talking out of major experience, guys. I am a victim of serious domestic violence, and it didn't stop when I left them. I've had landlords contacted to, you name it, and, even clients. I've been through massive abuse, and I decided to take my life back. Right now, construction first class, construction 1ST class, is being hacked. It's been hacked to a porn site. And it is just massive years of domestic violence. Guys, there is ways to combat this and protect yourself. And for me, it's been extreme because they even hacked my emails. So every email I was sending out, I'm thinking, okay, I'm bidding a job, everything's great. All of a sudden, the clients would be contacted. My clients, the day of signing, would say that they got a phone call and they were contacted and they took a deal they couldn't refuse. So, domestic violence is real. And the effects of it on children and families is extreme. My children have been obviously pushed and made homeless, to going hungry, to these children crying out. And mother, the one who is their supporter, who financially is responsible for them and obviously has fought and fought to take care of them, can't get work because we have abusers out there who's continuing their saga. I've been placed on sites, my phone numbers and my nonprofit placed on even Backpage, made to look like a prostitute, made to look like a scam artist, and I have proof that I am being abused. My ex is even saying I made sure to take care of her. Guys, we got to stop. We're hurting our children. Children going without birthday parties. Children crying out. They've been, in their mind, they're so sick that they've actually think that their children is better in foster homes, but it's really about abuse. 50% of children in foster homes are abused. They're all separated. They don't get to see their brothers and sisters anymore. It's not so simple. But these men don't care. It's all about their power and their control and keeping up with the lies that they had already tried to make others believe. That they have to go out of their way and pay people to harm the mother of their children. Putting her in an early grave is what they're trying to do. And I'm fighting every step of the way. And again, guys, email us. Tell us your story. Have you been a victim of any type of abuse? We would like to hear from you. Because nobody should suffer in silence. And nobody should ever be abused for no reason. Especially when children are crying out. For me, somebody had pointed this out because in my family, part of my ancestors went through the Holocaust. They were pushed in concentration camps. And it's like they're pushing us into the hood and pushing us into the streets. It's not even normal. It's something that doesn't even sound normal. I don't know if it's because I'm a Jew and people say I'm cursed. I don't know. But I have been through hell. My ancestors have been through hell. And I keep saying, when am I going to be free? I've been abused since I was a child. There was nothing wrong with me. I was an innocent child. But I was extremely abused. I've been attacked for no just cause, made to look like everything under the sun. I worked for KSR real estate office. They were contacted and I was sabotaged. The character assassination went down. Meanwhile, this same company, I had done a deal on Red Hook. Brought the deal in, had the NDA signed, had the point agreement signed by the buyer. They just happened to know the buyer and they happened to know about the property. They were actually fighting me, trying to remove the guy that had originally told me about the deal. I got on the phone with Town Residential and I'll go to war because this man is a human being. He even had an autistic child like I had. We are all human beings. I don't care if it took 10 people to make a deal happen. Everybody needs to be paid. I knew about that deal and had put that paperwork together before I ever came to KSR. It was an off-market project. I was trying to find a place to get my license. This is so beyond unreal. And when I went to KSR, Daniel Myers, I had to fight. And I told him, I said, everybody should be paid on the deal. It doesn't matter that you knew about the property beforehand. Needless to say, all of us got cut out of the deal. Not sure what happened with that property or that deal. I have been bullied for a long time. All I know is I got to keep speaking and keep fighting. And I know that this happens to other people. And the way now we have technology is this the way of the future, and people are using it to perpetrate abuse on their victims for decades, years. Nowadays, they can find out in your address where you live and who is your landlord. They contact your landlords and they can character assassinate you till the cows come home. And they will... I've had where people have been paid. It's so obvious. People being so broke and desperate for their rent right on the first. And they're so broke and they're talking about how broke they are. And the minute that you're wrongfully kicked out, they've got money to go fly to Italy. They got all this money all of a sudden that they didn't have. But nobody's investigating this. Of course, I've been contacting the FBI. And I'm the kind of woman, when you hurt my babies, I'm going to fight war. Because there's no reason that anybody should hurt children. My two oldest kids were literally legally kidnapped. My ex went into court, said I was going to kidnap my very own children. Me and Gabriel was left in the streets. That's when I started my construction company. So I went from on and off being in a battered woman's shelter being with that man, to my children wrongfully taken, to Dr. Montgomery finding that my kids were wrongfully taken in the first place. DFACS, once they realized what was really happening, it was really too late, because once the other parent has grabbed the children, possession is 9/10 of the law. So these abusers will continue abusing you for decades. First, I was made to look like a prostitute. Investigators dug and dug and dug and realized that I actually was not a prostitute, just in a wrong place. They couldn't even take me in front of a judge because I was not a prostitute. But that was his ploy, to make it look like, to try to put nails in the coffin, because he didn't like what a DFACS worker said or a CPS worker said in Pike County, Pennsylvania. And by the way, somebody who got paid off, Mr. Pastor, who's supposed to be uniting a family, never once puts any of all the documentation from Dr. Montgomery, Heather Cannon, Morristown Memorial Hospital, to Pike County, Pennsylvania, Donna. Nobody's putting in the reports the findings. No, he didn't put. He met me less than 30 minutes and found supposedly all these things wrong. If there was anything wrong, it was because I've I could have some type of, post-traumatic stress syndrome like they do in war. But not to the point of not being an amazing mom. I take excellent care of my kids. I fight for my children when their fathers don't even care to give them medical insurance or a birthday party. I'm crying out, emailing, blowing up phones to these exes of mine, pleading for medical insurance, pleading for my children to have a birthday, all to go on deaf ears. I don't understand how anybody would want to hurt any child, let alone their own. Something's very wrong. I love my children. I sacrificed everything to have them because anybody knows what parenting is. Most of the time I'm on my hands and knees, and I have 2 autistic kids out of 9, 3 out of 9 kids. And mainly because of during the pregnancy, there was massive domestic violence, more so than any of the other pregnancies. Later did I learn that being beat down and going through physical labor, like when you're working and you're doing physical manual labor like a man pregnant, that this is going to have an effect. But I was made to because I was the only breadwinner. I sacrifice everything for these children because they're my life. I've lost millions of dollars fighting and taking care of these precious children on the floor cleaning. But men don't think that a mother's time is valuable. They treat her like an animal. Nothing adds up. So guys, we need to stop cyberbullying our exes. Why are we hurting our children? Your children are crying out, pleading for mercy. Why do you need to keep your saga going to try to make my oldest children believe that mommy's a loser, unstable, and a piece of shit? They have fought to keep me down so that all the things in the dark won't come to the light. My abuse, the grabbing, the shoving, the punching, that no one will ever find out about it. But you know something? I'm never going to stop. I can't stop and I won't stop. And I will fight for all women. This must end. Even men today are being abused. I'm going to stop this madness. And yes, men, they should take care of their families. If your children are crying out in poverty and they don't have food, or they're barely getting food, or they're barely getting by, and they can't even go to the doctor because the car don't work, because you can't even afford anything. You know, these children are crying out. And as a father, you're a man. You should be fighting with all your might. Especially when you see your wife is going through domestic violence and being abused and bullied online, and all her deals are squashed, and you're not even emailing one GC to get a better job or a better opportunity, not knocking on one door. There has been a lot done to me, and that is my story. So I'm just praying that these FBIs will arrest those who are cyberbullying me and my children, and that all that's in the dark will come to the light, because no one should ever suffer in silence. Guys, thanks for joining America Break Your Silence. Call us today if you have a story. We want to hear from you. Thanks so much and have a great day.